Hey guys, welcome to my lo-fi version of this video, but today we're going to talk a little bit about the newest episode of X-Men 97 on Disney+. It's called The Rise of Apocalypse Part 2. And at the end of the last episode, you kind of thought that Apocalypse was going to go off the deep end, and at the beginning of this episode, that appears to be what is going to happen, but you also get to see that he gives Charles Xavier one last chance to try to explain what's going on, and that they're there to help him, not to harm him, not to take away his power, not to take away anything. But as usual, you kind of get some hope that they can still redeem the man who would become Apocalypse. But at the end of the day, you know that that's not going to happen. If you've read the comics, if you've studied the stories, then some things are just inevitable. Like Thanos used to say, I am inevitable. And let me see if I can move this just a little bit closer, guys. And there we go. Now we're not so confusing here with the up and down on the screen. So Magneto is still trying to help save the universe, help Charles' dream come true, try to be a better man. All of these things are coming together and coalescing, as well as Nebun Sur trying to find out his own destiny. And when he goes to this shrine where the Pharaoh, also known as Kang, had set things up, then when he gets there, he sees that he's going to become one of the most powerful mutants ever. And he becomes angry at Charles, and he says, you're trying to take this from me. And he says, no, that's not what I'm trying to do. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to take that anger and that frustration and that pain away from you. And instead, I'm trying to help you become one of the greatest good mutants out there, instead of becoming an evil one who's only out for his own devices. And unfortunately, the evil man chooses evil ways. And even against Bishop and Magneto and Beast, Nightcrawler, he's too much. And so he chooses his own path. He becomes Apocalypse, and then he eventually gets his Pepper. Stop that. Why are you all scratching on things while I'm trying to do this video? He ends up getting his revenge, as far as he can see it, on Magneto. And through that, he, truly becomes the man who Charles never wanted him to be. So, this series just keeps getting better with each episode. And like I said, I knew that they were not going to let Apocalypse turn before he became Apocalypse. That would turn the X-Men lore on their head, on its absolute head. And even as good as the show is, I don't think they've got the time, maybe in the comics, but they don't have the time in the show to really get into that. It would take about 10 seasons to see where this was actually going to go. So it's the animation is perfect. The voice acting is on just chef's kiss. It's really a great show. And I never was the greatest X-Men fan. I think I've said this in one of the previous videos. But between this and the Spider-Man cartoon, I chose X-Men every time. It was always Batman and X-Men were the two that I sat there and watched. So if you were also a fan of the 1990s Fox X-Men series and you haven't seen the first season, do yourself a favor and go check that out now, and then come back and start watching these episodes. Like I said, it'll all be done by the 12th of next month. They'll have dropped all 9 episodes. But so far, this season is just as strong as the first season. You get to see all of your favorite mutants pretty much, except for Gambit, who I have a feeling is probably going to make a return at some point due to Apocalypse. And that's why they made him the big bad of this season, is because I think he's going to, feed into a way to bring Gambit back as one of his horsemen. But in the meantime, guys, just enjoy your X-Men. I've got some other things to watch, including Good Omens 3, and I'll sit and do a video on that one of these days. But like I said, do yourself a favor, take 20, 30 minutes out of your time and check out the first season of this, and then come back and watch this season. And I don't think you'll be disappointed at all, because I think it's one of the greatest animated shows, a continuation of one of the greatest animated shows that ever came out in the first place. So that is episode 4, season 2 of X-Men 97, The Rise of Apocalypse, part 2. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know in the comments what you thought about this video, what you think about the X-Men 97 cartoon series. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe, and I've got great content coming up. See you guys on the flip side.